like to call the meeting to order. This is a special meeting for the Airport Advisory Commission. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Meeks. Here. Commissioner Machado. Here. Commissioner Meyer. Here. Chairman Judd.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson's out. Commissioner Fisher.
Here.
Commissioner Houston.
Here.
Okay, verification of posting, of agenda posting.
The agenda for the Airport Advisory Commission of the City of Hollister special meeting of November 19, 2014, posted on the bulletin board at City Hall on November 4th at 10 per Government Code Section 54954.6.
Okay, we have minutes to approve from the, doesn't say so on the agenda, but I think they're from September 24th. I entertain a motion to accept the minutes, or
I'd like to make a motion that we do accept the minutes.
been moved and seconded. We accept the minutes. Any discussion? No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public input. This is the time where if anybody has anything they'd like to discuss that is not on the agenda from the public, this is a time to speak up.
Good evening. I would like to invite everybody to our Hollister Airmen's annual holiday party on December 7th at Payne's. Some of you already have an invitation. If those of you that don't have one would like one, I have one extra one here. Everybody's invited, from the TV audience to you that are in this room right now. So hopefully any of you are welcome. It's aviation themed, the whole evening, the tables, the walls, everything is aviation themed. So it's a lot of fun. Hope we see you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. Any other comments from the audience? Okay. Moving on to reports. NBAA says continue January. What does that mean?
That was a deal that Mike went to, so he's got to explain it.
Oh, okay. All right. Young Eagles, October 25th, rain. I suppose I can comment about that, but we had scheduled a Young Eagles event on the 25th. We had 2 or 3 pilots at least ready to fly, but it just rained all morning, and we just never were able to, never became VFR, at least not well enough to where we can take off. So we had, I think, 6 Young Eagles show up, and we got data on them and got applications and so forth signed, and I know Fred and myself have agreed to try to find a Saturday to take them flying, and at least 4 of them we've nailed down, and 2 of them we're not quite sure who they are. A little coordination issue going on between us and Ed Owens and so forth, but we hope to still fly at least the ones that did show up sometime soon. We get a nice Saturday. So.
Is there a date set for that?
No.
Okay.
No. We're just kind of eyeballing the weather, and of course we got our own schedules to deal with, and you know, Thanksgiving's coming up, and it's getting a little crowded. But we'll try to get them flown within the next month or 2. At least that's our goal. Okay, 7C is new truck.
So we got the new truck in for the airport. Was over at EVS for a couple of weeks, getting all the lights and electronics put in it. And then today I got all the decals put on it. So now it's a complete truck and ready to use. So it's a bright yellow truck out there. was according to the FAA specs, what it should be. Numbers on the side and reflective stripes and,
So it looks like it's official now.
yep. It's outside if anybody wants to take a look at it.
Out here?
Yep.
Oh, okay, out in front?
Mhm.
I'll take a quick look on the way out then tonight.
Sure.
You'll have to talk to Steve about that.
Oh, you have it outside tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, well, the only thing is, fortunately, we don't have to listen to Mike whine about not getting his Ford Explorer at the same time. Yeah, anyway. All right, 7D, emergency roof on OK aircraft parts.
So Bruce had a leak on his roof, so Ronnie and myself went up there and we stripped it down, put some, I don't even know what they call it, it's like a tar paper, but it's kind of rubbery. Laid that down and then put sheet metal on the top of it, corrugated sheet metal over the whole thing. And he emailed us 3 days ago, and he says he doesn't have a drop of water in his shop anymore. So he's happy with it, and it all worked out well.
Got a happy customer.
Yeah. I think so, yeah, yeah. It's screwed off right at the edge, yeah. And then it's only got about a 6-inch overhang maybe. So I think we screwed it off enough to where the wind wouldn't catch it.
Well, it's a little better than the first thought of whatever it was, $40,000. or
$40,000,
something.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's a couple $1,000s worth of materials?
It was, I think we're into it probably for about 4,000,
4,000
Yeah.
plus a couple of days' work.
a day and a half probably,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
2, yeah. Yeah, but it
Well-
should last quite a long time now, so,
Good.
and he's happy with it.
That's important thing.
Yeah.
As long as he's happy, we're
Yeah.
happy. Okay, good. Item 7E is spraying.
So just before all the rains came, we went out and sprayed all the taxiways, down the both sides of the runways. And with the rains, we were able to put the pre-emergent in it, where normally you're not able to. Or last year we weren't able to because we got no rain to soak it in. So it was good that we did it all before the rain. And
Now, did that included like Roundup or something?
it's Roundup is the weed killer, and then
and the
Oxyflow is the pre-emergent, which should keep the weeds from coming back up from the rain. It takes the rain to push it down into the ground to basically
Right.
kill the dirt, so nothing will grow in it.
Right.
But you need the rain to do it within, I think it's like 2 weeks. So we were able to spray it, and then a couple days later it rained. We did a couple of passes around everything, so everything should be dying out there along the taxiways and runways. And
Did we also cover the ramp?
no, we did not do the ramp. Oxyflow is very expensive to use.
Okay.
And when you do the ramp, it would cover a lot more concrete than it would weeds.
Okay.
So normally we'll spray Roundup out there, which will kill all the weeds.
That'll work.
When you Roundup with like spot spraying or something?
Yeah, well, we'll even spray the whole ramp and everything, because the Roundup's fairly inexpensive.
To you, maybe.
No, it is, it's inexpensive compared to what time it would take to spot spray, the difference between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of the squirrel traps out there all crushed from disking. Are they gonna be replaced, or you don't worry about squirrels anymore?
No, there's a lot of squirrels out there, but I haven't seen many that are broken. I think Mike caught a couple of them out there the last time he disked, but for the most part, we kept it out of the disking area. All the traps that we are using right now are out of the disking area. They're either along the fence in the rubber bark, or they're along the taxiway lights.
I noticed there's one right in front of his hangar that's mangled.
Yeah, there's one by my hangar, and then I noticed, whenever I was taxiing by, kind of near the along taxiway Charlie, near 3-1, when you're coming from my hangar up that way, off to the right there, I think, well, to the south, there was, looked to be a trap that was sort of just
If it's white,
skewed. Yeah,
if it's white, it was one of the ones we stuck out there. If it's green, it was an old one that got caught in the weeds somewhere and
I
came
thought
back
it was
up.
white, but,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, okay. Oh, all right, any more on spraying? No questions? No more questions? Okay, we'll move on to old business. 8A, the item is air show with Air Boss highlighted here.
So we lost Jody this year. because she's going to Africa, right? She got deployed to Africa. I think Larry's gonna step up and do it. He's gonna go to Vegas to that ICAS, because they have a training over there for Air Boss, so he came in and talked to Mike the other day, and he's gonna go ahead and do that. So he will be our Air Boss for the air show this year, next year.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on the air show?
Nope.
Okay.
Dean, before you move on, somebody, I can't remember,
Marge.
sent me a email about something that Salinas was going to do about the same date we were gonna have the air show, and they may conflict with, but I couldn't open it because yeah,
Yeah,
that's right, Sunseri.
Yeah,
What was that? Because I couldn't open it.
That came from the Salinas agenda in September, I believe it was. And they have sent their RFP to go ahead and do the AOPA
Oh,
thing that
okay.
you guys had talked about.
Mhm.
And the months that they had thought about doing that, one was May, June, or October. And if it were June, that would be a direct conflict with our air show and could potentially, you know,
Mhm.
be a definite problem. So I would think we would want to keep our eyes and ears open for that. So if I hear of anything, or,
Yeah.
you know,
I would assume if it wasn't, if it was a different weekend, I'm not sure it would be a conflict.
no,
But,
no.
but it was same weekend, that would,
It's just an
Yeah.
FYI, so
Yeah.
that we keep our eyes and ears open
Yeah.
for it.
I'm not sure it would be good or bad. I mean, it might help.
It might help, yeah.
What?
Is this an application?
That, what she was saying is, we did actually speak about this, I think, at a meeting or two back, that AOPA was,
Yeah, but is this a confirmed date for Slate, or is this the application they sent in?
they sent in to the AOPA an application, and I think Marge is saying that they probably were well-received. They're kind of in a,
They are going to move forward on putting on an AOPA event. They have not solidified a date.
or they haven't picked Salinas either, but it's just that Salinas is a strong candidate, I think is what she's saying. And that the dates that they were looking at was June or July, or May or June, or October. And so at this point, it's, it may not come to pass. But if it does come to pass, it also may not be in the same weekend as our air show. But if it does come to pass, and it's the same weekend as the air show, then we'll have to do some head scratching. I think she's just kind of letting us know that that's going on.
Both things cannot happen at the same time.
Well, I don't know. I think they could, probably, but I mean, we should discuss it. If it turns out that it's the same weekend, then we should talk about it.
I think it's a different kind of event than an air show. It's more of a business pilots and stuff like that. And
Well, it's a
called
huge,
regional
it's a big fly-in.
fly-in,
Basically, it's a
regional
big
fly-in.
fly-in, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But,
It would basically hit different markets, but so in that light, it could be to our benefit, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
we don't know.
particularly if we were to, if they were to get the AOPA event, and then maybe we could then get on their program or agenda or whatever to focus some of them to our event as well during that period.
Right.
Yeah, well, at this point, I think we just wait and see. So. Any other discussion on that? Okay. 8B is AIP 17.
So.
What is that?
The construction out there, they were supposed to do the test patch today, but they didn't have one of the testing equipment to test it after they did it. So that was put off. Without doing that, they can't do the runway relocation. So we had talked about it, try to get them to do the relocation anyway, but because of rain, now they can't do it on Friday. So now they're looking at December 5th, Friday, to go out and do the relocation then,
Why can't they do it? Because of the rain?
because they gotta do painting.
Oh,
They've gotta
I
paint.
use
the runway.
water-based paint.
Yeah.
So
So-
is there a reason why they keep wanting to pick a Friday?
There is. The guy that does the restriping, the subcontractor, I think does a lot of work for like Caltrans or the state. And Fridays are their days off with the state. So they said it was gonna take about 16 guys to come out and relocate the runway. So they've gotta bring a crew out of Stockton, and I think the other crew might be out of San Jose. So there's several crews that need to come out to do it.
So it's their painter's schedule.
There's not a whole lot of painters out there that can do it. There's not a lot of crews anymore. So they haven't really said when they're gonna do the test trip now, next week sometime, but it can't rain for that either. So it looks like the whole schedule's about a week behind now. But they've already been issued their notice to proceed, so they're on their time limit already. So their clock is ticking. So I had NOTAMs out there, so I gotta cancel those, figure out when we need to reset them for.
I was speaking to Mike about, mentioned to Mike about the runway length markers on the side. And he said, oh, yeah. Has somebody done something? Have you planned to cover those up?
We haven't. I don't know if they'll turn off.
No, these are these big signs.
They're
It
lighted.
says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as you go north
Right.
on 3-1, every 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that I think it would be good to have them covered up, so that if some jet does come in and thinks he's got 5,000 more feet, and when he really only has 2,000 more
Right.
feet.
Yeah, we could do that. We could probably
It
bag
just
them or
seemed like it'd
something.
be a good, I mean, I don't know, talk to Kevin about it, I guess, or
Yeah.
something, but it seems like in the process of relocating the threshold, we don't have, the distances no longer available, and those, I mean, I don't know how many pilots look at those markers, but I assume the people that fly things that are higher powered than mine might
Right.
want to look at those, or
What
might
numbers?
see them. Yeah, what markers, I know. Well,
Yeah.
they're there on the left, on 3-1.
Yeah,
And my suggestion is cover them up or something.
right. You can never be too safe on any of that
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Okay, so we're waiting.
Okay. So the test section is right on the runway, or is it in the taxi?
It's on the taxiway, and I think we're gonna end up doing it on Foxtrot. That's where we're gonna do it.
That's way down.
That's all the way
far
down.
end.
Because it's out of the way of everybody, and that taxiway is no good anyway. So if they overlay it, then we'll at least have a good taxiway at the end.
So they're gonna do the taxiways also?
No,
Oh. Okay.
I think that's part of next year's plan.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, item 8C, business plan. We want to continue that?
Yep,
Waiting for Mike?
yep.
Okay. Item 8D, beautification, tree removal signs and schedule.
So the entryway where you come into the airport, we have taken out all those, I think they were juniper bushes. We pulled all of those out, ordered a new sign, we got a new sign in there. It's like made out of that man-made Trex material, so it should last us forever out there. And then we just planted some crepe myrtle trees and a couple of bushes. And then I think we're gonna put that ground cover that's sitting there in the middle on the other side where the lawn's at. There's that real thin ground cover. We're gonna throw that on the ground there.
Where, there's a sample already there, where is it?
In the center ring, right there where the glider guys used to be, where the Hollister sign's at now, there on the grass, when you first pull in on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's the same ground cover that is already somewhere,
It's already right there, yeah.
oh, it's already in that area?
It's up there on that tree ring, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll look at it
And you
next
can
time.
take it and just cut it and set it on the ground and it'll grow. So we're just gonna do that and So it'll
My
be
kind of
green,
ground cover.
cut down on the weeds, and then we'll have the crepe myrtles coming up through.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Looks nice.
What?
It looks nice.
Mhm.
I saw it today.
The juniper bushes were just kind of dated.
It's not on the, on here, but under old business, I think it's appropriate to mention about commissioner applications. I'm not sure if anybody who is not currently a commissioner is interested, to be sure and get their application in. I think, I'm not sure what the date was, but I think the 19th of this month, which is this week or today or tomorrow. What?
They told me the 14th.
14th? Was it the 14th? Well, anyway. Well, if it's over, yeah. Now, there was. And it actually, there was an error in it, and which I discussed with Jerry Johnson, and it had to do with the two commissioners, which happened to be myself and Doug Jackson, who are not residents of the city. It said that we're appointed by the councilman from districts 2 and 3, I think it is. And in fact, that's not true. Our terms run concurrent with their terms, 2 and 3. But the way we get on the commission is that we apply to the commission, and then the commission decides if they want us on it and votes on the non-city residents. And then if the commission, I guess it's the 5 commissioners who are city residents, if they pick 2 non-city residents, then that gets submitted to the city council for approval. But we're not appointed by any councilman per se. Yeah, yeah.
Are you up this time?
Yeah, both Doug and myself are up, and as well, and I put in an application, but I welcome anybody else who's not a member of the, not a resident. They would like to take my place. Go ahead and apply. And if any commissioners who are currently, the last I talked with Jerry, she wasn't sure if everybody who was currently a commissioner had reapplied, and I suppose if somebody chooses not to, then we'll have to stir the pot and try to find somebody. But I guess we'll wait and see. Anyhow, just wanted to mention that. Okay,
Okay.
new business. There's nothing there. Let's see, oh no, I have an item for the next agenda. Is there any new business that anybody? Nobody? Since it's not on the agenda, we really can't talk about it, so, anyway. All right, well then, items for the next agenda. I have one. And that is, actually I discussed it with Doug Jackson. He was concerned about this and thinks we ought to talk about it, and I agreed with him. Several meetings ago, there was discussion about a restaurant or some kind of eatery or whatever. And recall that we looked into a kind of a prefab, and it was going to be $600 plus $1,000 if we went that route. We had talked about a concrete pad with tables and a place for a lunch wagon. I'm not sure where that went, or if we ever really finished talking about it. And I think what I'd like to do is add this for the next agenda for discussion.
Good.
And, maybe even keep it on there for a couple of meetings, and with the aim of trying to come to a resolution and saying this is our position and that's that, whatever that is. But we can do that next meeting. So I would like to add that on the item for next agenda. Beyond that, well, the things that are continued will stay on the agenda.
I would say the ARP 17. Right.
Clearly, that should stay on there, yeah.
And the business plan?
business plan.
Nothing,
Air
right?
show.
Air show, probably, yeah, just as,
Yeah.
even if it says nothing's happening, at least we know it's coming up. I guess that about covers it. Anybody else got anything they want to add? Nope, going once, going twice. Okay, next meeting date, I guess we're skipping December. And the next meeting date is January 28th. It's not there. Oh, well. Must be the fourth Thursday. Well, fourth
January
Wednesday, I mean,
28th.
fourth
Oh.
Wednesday.
You got 2 pages there, Ken.
What, where's January? Is that January, oh, okay.
Fourth Wednesday.
Okay, fourth Wednesday. That's the next meeting, and if there being apparently no other business to attend to, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Opposed.
Quick.